Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, tonight, the League of Ordinary Gentlemen proudly bring to you the Fantasy Football 5. Introducing Jake, Coach Ruth, Quick Wit, Slow Feet, Ryan Robertson, and JT, the Commish. How we doing, boys?
Can't complain. So
Everyone's in a tough spot tonight. Everyone's in a real tough spot.
We had a real tough spot for the second week in a row watching this KC game.
You got Ryan right where you want.
I got it right where I want.
worked out last week.
I'm in a better position against Ryan than I was against Scorp, and I'm more nervous about this matchup.
Well, this one, he's got somebody else that can do something, whereas the other one is like, hey, he's a stationary. He's not a moving target. Which, if you play Call of Duty with me, if a guy's a moving target, I can't hit him. But if they're standing still, I got a decent shot.
That's true.
As we saw last night.
As we saw last night, well, Warzone action.
Yeah, but
Warzone action. Yeah, I think we should get a Twitch. I see you got a Twitch right now. But,
physical Twitch.
yeah. Then you can make some big money on Twitch. I don't get it. I don't know how it works. I really
gotta
don't
be good. People, it's like you just basically have a live stream of a feed, and people watch it, and they can donate to you.
And people do that.
But
you play video games.
But you can watch it for free, right?
I don't know. But I know a lot of people make money doing it, and I don't get it.
Yeah,
I feel like,
there's like teenagers that are making like six figures.
I feel like teenagers would pay to watch me just so they can make fun of me at school about it.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Like,
it might
I'm
not
so
be
bad. I'm so bad. Like it'll be comedy.
It might not be the most ethical.
How's it not?
Because
I'm bringing joy to people.
Professionality.
I'm bringing joy to people's life.
I get it.
I'm okay with losing my amateur status. Is all I'm saying.
Well, I'm just saying, like
That ship sailed a long time ago.
dude, like
1492.
Dude, when I was teaching middle school, like I had kids all the time ask me if I played video games with them, and I'm like, no, because I'm a grown man.
But you were playing video games.
I was, but it's not with them. It's not with them. But if
I
they're
got
paying
standards.
me,
I'm a grown man. Challenge another grown man to a 2-on-2 full court game to 100.
you said we weren't talking about that. All right. The game, April 17th. Come one, come all. Brian Roberts has challenged me to a 2-on-2 pickup game, full court to 100 by 2s and 3s.
Oh, it is 2s and 3s?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thank God.
He played to one.
So right now,
We're not in college
Brian.
anymore.
Brian said that he could beat me, run me up and down the court. So it is Brian and Jake against me and a mystery opponent that will not be named until April 16th.
I mean,
There are exclusions. There are
They probably
exclusions.
have a name already.
There are exclusions.
I said LeBron, but he didn't.
You
He
didn't
didn't
specify
take me
which.
up on that.
You didn't specify which one. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
Need you to.
Hey,
do
that's
something.
fine. I need them to score. I do need them to score.
I need him to look good because Eckler got hurt.
It'd be nice if this drive lasted about another 10 minutes, 44 seconds.
It'd be great if it lasted another like 10 seconds and they
With
score.
a Burkhead touchdown.
I don't. That's fine. That's
Just
fine
say
with me.
yes.
Yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. All right.
And
So, what is our what's our first order of business tonight, old Rhino?
All right. With we got this game that's on now, Patriots and Chiefs, and then we got the Falcons and Packers playing at 8:20. But except for those two games, we've already got through a quarter of the fantasy season.
Ooh, quarter.
So, with that being said, the U.S. currency quarter is worth 25 cents. So what we're going to do
25?
tonight, 25-cent drafts
25-cent drafts. Say no more.
review.
Oh, God.
25-cent draft review.
Not as good.
Nah,
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah.
That's the way
I'm just
Brian-
saying it's not a good situation. If you've got 25 cents drafts, people are getting hurt.
Yeah, dude.
People are getting hurt.
If you have $10, that's 40 beers.
People are getting blacked out if you've got 25-cent drafts. So we're just going to do 25-cent draft review.
Is it beer or
30.
beers?
It's draft picks.
Oh.
Football players. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to go round by round. JT's going to pull up the draft board in the draft order, and we're going to go each round, and each one of us is going to pick a player
who we think
returns
the most value.
the most value.
Is that
Return
right?
on investment, ROI.
Is that,
Are you getting all 25 cents worth?
is that a
of
real
this draft
acronym?
review? Return on investment?
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious.
Finances.
Finances. All right.
Starting with round number 15. I'm just round number one.
Yeah.
Round number one.
Round number one. Okay, so Jake, all right. So let's do it this way. Jake, you'll make the first pick of round one. I'll do round two, round three, and we'll round table.
We'll each lead off 5 rounds.
Oh man, nothing like when the plan comes together.
Mine's the easiest because everyone's probably going to agree with me. I think he's the number one fantasy running back at the time, Alvin Kamara.
Yep.
9-2
Ninth
score.
overall. Yep.
The guy who traded out of 4 in order to not draft this player is forced to draft him at 9 and didn't want to keep him, and now he's been.
Now you can't get rid of him.
He is the number one fantasy running back by
A large margin.
23 points.
And the next highest is probably who I would have said second on this list. Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook, okay.
And he had some bad weeks, but he's had some really big weeks here.
He's had
last
2
2
really
weeks.
good
He's literally
weeks and
kept
2
Reitmeyer.
average weeks.
I mean, I think Reitmeyer's on track to win again this week because I think he was playing Michael.
Yes,
So-
he was on track to beat Michael. I think like after the
and-
1 o'clock game.
and had the highest point output last week against Brian, who that's a theme right now. If you play Brian, get ready for a big week.
Yeah, get ready.
'Cause he's
I got
gonna
it
go
next
off.
week.
He's going to go off, but whoever goes against him goes off more.
Ain't going to beat him.
Right.
All right, so, yeah, Alvin Kamara, I think
that's a unanimous pick. Yeah.
All right, second round. Second round, I'm going to say DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
Who also went 9th in that round.
I had the same pick.
I'm with you. I would have said Austin Eckler could have had a conversation, but
There's only one other name I have.
the Buccaneers are jerks.
All right,
I have one
think
other
that
name
other
up
name is Aaron Jones.
It is Aaron Jones.
Oh,
That's the other one.
And I agree
And
with
I'm
that
not
too.
saying there was some good picks on there. Mixon's kind of, well, he had one breakout game. Kelsey's been consistent, but we expected that from where they were drafted.
Yeah.
Compared to Jones is a top 3 running back, and he was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah.
9, 10, 11, 12th running back taken.
And they haven't given him a contract extension. I think he's in the last year of his deal, and they drafted a running back in the 2nd round of the regular
Where does
draft.
he go? Just a quick one, sidebar. Where does he go if he leaves Green Bay?
He's not leaving. They're locking him up.
Where does he go if
It's
he leaves
a
Green Bay?
Hypothetical, Ryan.
All right.
The
Okay.
Chargers.
You
Hey,
just gave him a
you
contract
asked.
extension.
All right.
asked.
Where does he go if he leaves Green Bay? He goes to
Jacksonville Jaguars. They're going to draft Trevor Lawrence and pair him up with Aaron Jones.
They got James Robinson, man.
Maybe.
I'm joking. Definitely.
Houston.
Giving up on David
Maybe.
Johnson already?
Bill O'Brien got fired today.
I know.
But first off, you should never make your head coach also the GM unless you're Bill Belichick.
Agreed.
Well,
But
he doesn't even technically have
No.
that title.
also,
he
they
just
had
tells the GM what to do,
Right.
which is the easiest job in the world now because you just
Right.
listen to what Bill
That's
Belichick tells you.
they had the worst 3-game stretch that you could ever ask for to start off the season.
Yeah. A tough schedule. And then you get
and then
you get a
play
Minnesota
Minnesota.
defense that's been terrible.
You're gone. You're out of here.
Well, he decided he was going to take over play calling like
I
at
saw that.
halftime. Like, that's never worked out for you in the past.
I tell you, a team that if they give up on a guy, Pittsburgh. If they say move on from James Conner,
Good.
I could see a Aaron Jones really kind of fitting well there.
Yeah, Snell Trail's going cold.
Snell came to a halt.
I think Atlanta giving up on Gurley also.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah, that's a good point.
good
That's a good point.
point.
Is there any other like aging around the Jets?
They got
They-
Le'Veon. So
But no one's going there.
Yeah.
No, you get there to
I
die.
mean, they got Le'Veon, so if they can get rid of Adam Gase, that offense might actually flourish.
They could.
Look what happens when Robbie Anderson got out of Adam Gase's shadow. Same thing with Devontae Parker.
Watch Sam Darnold
I'll try not to. It's
resurrect
painful.
his career.
Yeah.
All right, Ron, take us in round 3.
All right, round 3. I mean, it's a toss up for me between Chris Carson and Amari Cooper.
Same 2 I had in mind.
Because Amari Cooper, I mean, he's been getting like 12 to 15 targets a game in an offense that's throwing the ball a ton.
Can I add one other name to that?
Yeah, sure.
Thielen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like he had one bad week, but I feel like he's been pretty consistent
He has.
as well. I agree with Cooper. I think I'd go Cooper because right now Dak's getting 450 yards a game, and he's the most targeted in the offense.
I think I'm going Cooper because I would not have taken Cooper in the 3rd round because I was thinking, Michael Gallup, C.D. Lamb,
I think I've sent 2 trades.
Ezekiel Elliott.
I think I've sent
Which
2
they haven't
trades.
given him the ball.
2 trades for Cooper today.
And I would love to have Amari Amari Cooper.
Well, can we just look at the receivers ahead of him and say who would you have taken? Who would still be taken ahead of Amari Cooper? Well, obviously Adams. Thomas hasn't played, but
he'd still be taken.
I'd say the first 5 might be the only ones.
Julio, Tyreek, and Hop. But then
I would rather have Amari over Allen Robinson, Thielen, Kenny Galladay, Chris Godwin.
Yep.
So
If we'd have known Dallas's defense was going to be this bad,
they were supposed to be good.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we'd have known that they were going to be this bad, I think he might have been the 4th or 5th wide receiver taken.
Yeah,
And I'd be tempted to take him over Tyreek Hill just because there's so many mouths to feed in Kansas City. Speaking of Andy
They're
Reid,
hungry.
you like getting
He's
fed.
hungry.
Why don't you feed Clyde Edwards-Helaire a little bit here, bud?
I thought that old big fella, 87. All right, Jake, round 4. What you got? Oh, this is easy.
yeah, Calvin Ridley,
Yeah.
number 1 receiver in football.
And again, they haven't even played this week.
You know,
Calvin Ridley at the end of the 4th.
It seemed like it was too easy. That's why I had to keep looking. But I was like, no, it's definitely Calvin Ridley.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I was like, ooh, early.
All right.
I know. I took
Jake,
Odell
I was about to say,
Beckham.
Jake, you took a running back in this round, so you don't really have an opinion. I took Robert Woods as the 2nd wide receiver taken in this round. And 3 picks later, JT took Odell Beckham Jr.
And I was wanting Juju. That's what really was.
Could you go back and say, hey, man, Calvin Ridley, that'd be the one.
Yeah,
And I was going into the draft night. Y'all already know my bold prediction was Calvin Ridley leads the league in touchdown receptions.
I had
And he
Ridley.
said, I was like, nah.
I had Ridley at the end of the year last year, and he got hurt, and I think I was just down on him because of that.
Yep.
But yeah, Calvin Ridley in our runaway.
Yeah.
All right, round 5. Round 5, best value. Round 5.
This is a rough
Round 5 is it?
I think there's one on there that you're kind of looking over.
In round 5,
I don't think it's Antonio Gibson yet.
No,
it may be Terry McLaurin.
he's had a good one. I was going to go with Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews.
Had 2
Yeah,
big weeks.
yeah.
and I
Mark
guess-
Andrews probably is the best out of that group.
I'm still going McLaurin. The dude's getting double-digit targets
Yeah, he
every
is.
week.
He's getting a lot of
Those are the
targets.
only 2 that I had on there.
Like, he's legitimately my number 1 wide receiver, even though I benched him last week or yesterday because he was questionable, didn't even know if he was going to play. So it's 14 targets. But
Mark Andrews happened.
Mark Andrews, it's
Somebody's yelling. Mr. Belichick's yelling.
I've never seen this. Not like this.
He's cussing. He's a cussing.
I've never seen him this.
Get him.
Look at him.
and I'm pretty sure he's going to get fined again because he's not wearing his mask.
I gotta see this. What happened to the?
Sorry.
Fumble.
Oh, that's fumble.
That's an interception.
No,
is what that
that
is.
ain't no interception.
They're saying it was blown dead.
in the grass.
Right
But right there, that
They're
didn't hit the
saying
ground. That's
Oh,
they
did.
They blew the whistle early, and that's why. he's
No
upset.
wonder Belichick is.
But hold on a
outraged.
second. He's been getting 20 years of that kind of treatment with Tom Brady, so he needs to be like, hey,
The Tuck rule.
right, this is the other side of the coin here.
Sorry,
All right,
All
little
right.
sidebar, boys. We're watching the game as we're recording.
All right, go round 6.
2 names.
2 names.
Well, heck, there's 4 names.
Yeah, this is a good
Yeah,
round.
this. Honestly, I think this might be the best round.
This legitimately could be the 3rd
Hold
round,
on,
and I don't
which-
think we would be surprised.
Which way did this round go?
Which
It went from.
This
right
is
to
round.
left.
This is round 6. Yeah,
Went
so
right
it
to
went.
it went
right
it
to
went
left.
back. It went 10-1.
Yep.
Okay, thank goodness. Now I don't feel as big of an idiot.
I'll tell you the one I wouldn't want off this list.
It's my guy too. I
T.Y.
know.
Hilton,
That's why I said I was
for
making sure I didn't want to feel like too big of an idiot.
Yeah.
And then Le'Veon probably the next one.
Well, I don't know, boys. Marquise Brown didn't really light it up. He's had 2 good games and 2 terrible
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, especially with. Diggs
Honestly,
there.
you kind of go either way right here with the top 2. Ryan, it's your turn.
Yeah, for me, it's either one of the Seahawks receivers, Lockett or Metcalf, or even Keenan back to back. I mean, those 3
Yeah.
have been getting a lot of time. But Kareem Hunt, with the news of the Chubb injury, Kareem Hunt looks a lot better. If Chubb wouldn't have gotten hurt, it's still a good pick, but I'd say the value would be better on probably DK Metcalf. That dude looks like he could be a legit number 1.
We'll be visiting that discussion a little later in
What
tonight's
about-
episode.
what
That's
Mostert?
another tease.
Mostert. Depends
I
on
know
how much
he's
time he
injured,
misses,
but-
but Mostert looked good.
Mostert's a stud, but they've got like every running back that touches the ball in that
It's who's
offense
in
is
that
a stud.
system. If anyone learns anything, draft someone that plays for Shanahan because they're going to zone block and it works.
Yeah.
I don't understand how no one else is just duplicating what they do, or somehow the Shanahans are the only ones that can coach it. But you put a running back in a Shanahan offense.
Gary
they're
Kubiak tries it, but it doesn't work as
not
well.
as good.
The coup. All right, so Ryan, who's your definitive? Who you take?
DK Metcalf.
All right.
Even though I really want to say Keenan Allen, but I think I mentioned at least 6 Chargers a podcast, so I'm going to try to refrain.
Well, JT, I know who you're going to go with, and that's actually probably who I would go with as well. But I want to throw this name out there because I think he's kind of been forgotten a little
T.Y.
bit.
Hilton.
Diggs.
Diggs, yeah.
Diggs
That's
is
a
a
good
stud.
one.
Diggs had a good year, and looking at some receivers that went ahead of him, he definitely deserved.
He's a perfect fit with
Yeah.
Josh Allen, too.
He is. Again, probably going to go with the name you would have said, especially with his upside going forth. But I wanted to give a little love to Diggs there.
All right. I think it is, as of today, Kareem Hunt. But if you asked me 6 hours ago, I probably would have said DK or Tyler Lockett.
Yep.
I mean, legitimately.
Because that offense is throwing the ball a lot more than anybody thought.
Yeah. All right, Jake, round 7. Things get a little interesting here.
Hmm.
No, there's a couple, though. There's a couple that I like here.
I got mine.
I don't know what he did yesterday. I have it between Tyler Boyd and Waller are the two that I'm kind of looking at. Kind of went back. So I guess Waller was taken after Tyler Boyd. So I'm going to go Waller.
Okay. I think I'm going to go I think I'm actually going to go Kyler because he is a top 4 QB. And, dude, I'm just going to be honest.
I mean, but he was taken
Third-
here at the
third.
third quarterback, so that makes sense. So he got taken at his value.
I guess what I'm looking at more is
How many quarterbacks went right after him?
Yeah.
And would you rather have
Like, would I rather
Deshaun
have
Watson or Brady, which were the next
or-
2 that were drafted?
then Dak?
That's why I
And
stopped.
then
That's
Russell
why I
Wilson.
stopped there.
All right. Sorry, Kyler, you get bumped. Okay, I'll probably go Waller, but dude, I ain't gonna lie, I like some Devontae Parker right now.
Mine, I had it narrowed down between Boyd and Parker, but Boyd is the number 1 in that Cincinnati
For
offense.
sure.
Burrow's looking at him a lot. AJ Green looks
Getting a crap ton
washed.
of targets.
Hey, whoa. He had 0.8 this week.
He did have 0.8. He did have 1
Wow,
catch
what
for
did Boyd
3
have?
yards.
Yeah, Boyd looked good.
I think Boyd had like 8 catches again.
Boyd looked good. All right. Let's go to round 8.
Do we have to do this round?
This
next?
is easy.
Let's just skip them.
Prescott.
Go.
That a boy. All right, yeah, it's Dak.
Round 9.
Can we just
all
skip
right.
it?
Round 9, we're skipping it again because obviously Jordan Howard, right?
He had, how many rushing yards did he have? 1 yard yesterday? Or did he have
I don't
negative?
know.
I mean, it's Russell Wilson.
He's
just
averaging
because-
between 1. It's Russell Wilson. It's not even close.
But I do like throwing another name in there, not because of this, but I think it's still Roberts with a Crowder pick there.
Yeah.
He stays on the field, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, compared to some other guys that went ahead of him, he's outperformed them.
Yeah, it's Russell Wilson.
It's still Russell
It's
Wilson,
not even
but-
close.
I just wanted to give Brian that was a good pick.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be Roberts again in round 10.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's for sure going to be Brown and round.
Jordan Howard had a net of negative 1 yard yesterday.
Did he have 3 touchdowns?
He had 2 rushes for 2 yards, 1 reception for negative 3.
Mhm.
He's still averaging more touchdowns
I
than
think
he does
his
rushing.
average went up after that game. His average has been terrible. He's averaging like less than 10 yards a game.
Yeah. Oh, he's just got a touchdown. That's it. All right. 10.
It's easy.
There's 2.
There's 2.
I think there's 1. but
There's 2.
there's-
There's 2.
There's 2.
One towards
There's
the front.
3. No, there's 3. There's
One towards the
3.
front, one towards the back.
There's
Actually, 3. I see the other one you
Yeah,
filled
there's
out there.
3.
I don't see the third.
All right,
Fant.
Jake, give us yours.
You know, Cam before missing this week because of COVID. He was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 9th quarterback taken,
Mhm.
and he was top 4 or 5,
Mhm.
pretty high. I really like the Robbie Anderson pick though because he's also
Yeah.
top 5 in yards, getting a ton of receptions, outperforming DJ Moore.
Mhm.
And all those Blues ahead of him. I'm going to go Robbie Anderson, even though it's hard because Cam's been well, but I'm also saying because he's going to miss some time with COVID.
I'll say Robbie Anderson too. It was between Robbie Anderson and Noah Fant because Fant has been. He's been playing very well. I think maybe some of that's just due to everybody on Denver being hurt. Yeah, and then Drew Lock's hurt. Jerry Jeudy,
Phillip Lindsay's hurt.
Catches are about 50-50.
Yeah.
It's just a kind of weird situation. But I'll take Robbie Anderson because, dude, I had no clue he was going to do.
I legitimately think right now, Robbie Anderson is getting the production in the offense that everybody projected to go to DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the roles are very reversed because DJ Moore's getting 2 or 3 catches for like 60 or 70 yards a game, which that's what you expected for Robbie Anderson, just getting bombs, but he's getting used all over the offense, which is what you thought DJ Moore was going to do.
All right, round 11. Looking at this list, pretty easy for me. I'll take CeeDee Lamb.
Yes, sir.
CD.
That one's pretty easy because everybody. Well, the only thing that you can even say for me would be the Steelers' Steelers defense. But it's CeeDee Lamb. If I could go back now, I'd have taken CD in the 7th instead of Gallup.
Giddy up.
What an idiot.
Glad you did.
I'd love to go on CD and Prescott back-to-back instead of Gallup and Prescott back-to-back.
Next round's pretty easy for me as well.
Yeah, it's pretty easy for me. Ryan, go ahead. Take it.
Well, I hadn't even looked at it yet, but if I had to pick it, I would say
the only guy that's probably scored over 30 in this list.
I would say Deontay Johnson personally, but Justin Jefferson's right there.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson, last 2 weeks, man, he's been.
Because before he went down with his concussion, Deontay Johnson was operating as the number one in the Steelers' offense as far as Big Ben's number one go-to target.
Mm-hmm.
Juju's still getting more touchdowns, but Johnson was getting peppered with targets. I think he was 2nd or 3rd in targets behind D-Hop after 2 weeks. So Jefferson the last 2 weeks has just been
on. So they can throw the ball more too.
Their offense is actually moving
more
the ball,
balanced,
which helps out. Yeah, it's not just been
runs opening up the pass, taking shots with Jefferson. If I had to pick the one I want to move forward, Jefferson.
Yeah, it's complimentary.
That's tough.
I'm still going Deontay Johnson because I trust Roethlisberger more than I trust Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, round 13, Jake.
Yeah.
How many of these players are still rostered?
There's 2. There's 2 back-to-back. Yep.
Yeah, Darrell Henderson.
And Ronald Jones. Preston Williams has been okay.
What did Ronald Jones do yesterday without any other running back to challenge him?
20 carries for 111 yards, and I think he had a touchdown.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, man. Marlon Mack had a good first quarter.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah, I'm taking – or Jay, you go ahead, sorry.
I'm going to say –
round 14?
I'm going to say Henderson.
Henderson? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Henderson and Jones.
Both of them are in similar situations because they got somebody else in the backfield with them.
Yeah.
That the coaching staff will give the ball to more any given week.
Yep. And you never know which week that's going to be.
No. I'm probably going to go Jones just because I feel like it. And that's
the bottom line.
I got nothing. I got no better reasoning.
That was profound, buddy.
I got no better reasoning than that. All right, round 14.
It's my party. I can cry if I want to.
If you'd have asked me before Monday, Tuesday, which was it? Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday?
Lazard.
I'd have said Lazard.
Happy days.
I'd have said Lazard.
Yeah.
I can't say Lazard right now.
Probably going Rodgers.
We don't know if he's playing.
Yeah. Probably going Rodgers because he's top. A top 10 quarterback drafted outside of.
Rodgers should have went where Carson Wentz went, which was
actually
let's
stop for a second.
Rounds ago.
At the beginning of round 10.
He could have gone in round 7 where Watson went. He's greatly outperformed him.
And you know who could have taken him instead of Watson? Rams did.
Yeah. You know what else makes me laugh? The quarterback that's actually the highest out of his 2, didn't he cut Tom Brady?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And then Tom Brady just had 5 touchdowns. And he said, "Hey,
Brady's
they're going to go undefeated." And I said, "Okay, well, they lost week 1."
Yeah. It's kind of hard to do.
All right, Ryan.
Actually, it's almost impossible.
Take us through the last round.
Do we have to do that?
Yeah, last round is extremely tough because I only think the defenses are still rostered on the team that drafted them.
I'm going to say Eric Ebron. I like his potential moving forward. He had a touchdown last week with Big Ben, and And we know Big Ben does love some tight ends, and he's a freak. He drops a lot, but he's a freak of nature. He can.
Which one's the freak?
Ebron. He's a freak of nature.
Okay, well, we're just going to go through this round 15 because I'm not picking anybody.
I'll pick somebody. Let me pick somebody.
Deshaun Jackson's hurt. Okay. Alshon Jeffrey plays on the same team as Deshaun Jackson, also hurt. Paris Campbell, hurt. Eric Ebron can't catch. Blake Jarwin, hurt. And then all the rest of them are defenses.
Insert Dallas tight end.
If it was Dallas tight end and I got those fantasy points, I'd still be happy with my Blake Jarwin.
Dallas tight end. Yeah. Like, get rid of the name. Just Dallas tight end. That's the best.
If I'd have taken Dalton Schultz there, perfect. I'd be perfect.
Because if Blake Jarwin was still healthy,
he'd be getting those.
He would be getting the Dalton Schultz.
He'd be running those routes.
Yeah. So Dallas tight end.
Round 15 was a rough round for us,
but it's the last round. Can't hold anything back.
Rough.
Oh, James White. All right, Casey,
you got to pick it up. There you go, James.
Oh man,
all
Ryan, you're projected to win right now.
Why?
So that was our 25-cent draft.
Yeah.
Review.
All right. So, Jake, what we got next?
We have the ROS.
Rest of season.
Rest of season is what the ROS stands for. Is who do you want?
Who do you want?
Who do you want? So we're gonna go a little breakdown, a little one-on-one matchup of different positions and the top players at those positions, or those who we feel could be some of the top point getters as the season progresses. And who are we going to pick if we got to pick
for the ROS?
For the rest of season. Who do you want?
So let's go to our first matchup. We're going to start here.
Let me get it. It takes me just a second. All right, give me some. All right, okay. Quarterbacks. All right, Jake, go ahead.
So the first matchup on the board for our quarterbacks is Russell Wilson versus Dak Prescott. Who you going to take? And we're going to start this one with Ryan, followed by me, then going to Trogdon for obvious reasons.
I'm going to go with Dak, which, I mean, Jake, this is basically my quarterback versus your quarterback. Both of them have terrible defenses, but I just feel like Dallas is throwing 50 times a game, whereas Russell Wilson's team's been actually leading the games that he's been dominating in, where Dak's been just playing catch-up.
And that is why I'm going to choose Russell Wilson, because he's been doing this in games they've been winning. So this is clearly the strategy of the team. And I think Dallas, if they're going to start being more competitive in games, need to slow the tempo. And that means establish a running game, which I say that because I also have Zeke, but I also have CeeDee Lamb on that offense.
But they're getting down early.
Ryan, that's what I'm going with. All right? I think you got to – we said the same thing about the Vikings last week. They had to get Dalvin Cook more involved, and now that offense looks better because it's more balanced. I'm telling you, the Cowboys, the reason they're getting down so much because the ball's getting thrown so much is slowing the tempo of the game. Run the ball, set the tempo. Dak's numbers might decimate slightly, and I'm sitting here saying Russell Wilson and that offense is a well-oiled machine. He's spreading the ball around. He's making plays. I'm choosing Russell Wilson.
Now, what happens if we throw Sean Lee back in the middle of that defense? For the 2.5 quarters that he'd be healthy once he comes back from
changes.
Well, I think he's got a hernia or something.
All right, Trogdon.
Well, this is a tough one because I see two stats that are eye-popping that just are not, that cannot keep the same pace. Dak Prescott is not throwing for 6,760
He's on
yards.
pace for 6,700 yards.
He's not doing it.
Which would shatter, I think, Peyton Manning's record by like 1,200 yards.
Russell Wilson is on pace for 64 passing touchdowns.
That one's going to happen.
It's not. Neither one of those is sustainable in the long haul.
I just want this on the record that my quarterback and Jake's running back, same team. Jake's quarterback, my running back, same team. So we both want those offenses to flip.
Why don't y'all just trade each other?
Can't do that.
Why?
Because I don't want the quarterback and the running back on the same offense. I'd like a piece of pie on both of them.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, be that way.
But it is like I'm rooting for them to be a pass happy team. He's rooting for them to be a run happy team. The other team,
we're both kind of reliant. I'm really reliant, especially with CD not coming out, that if Dallas had a bad offensive game and I had all three of them, I'm in trouble. Yep. At least I have, like, if they both do bad, but Russell goes for 45, which a couple of weeks he's like carried my team.
Which Dak's 1-3, and he's throwing for basically 500 yards a game. It feels like.
Who you gonna pick, Trogan?
Dude, I'm sitting here thinking, man.
You've been thinking for a while. I'll let you go last on this one for a reason.
Okay.
Because he didn't have a horse in the fight.
Yeah.
Or a dog in the race. You know what I'm talking about. Just mixing up songs.
All right. I will go with.
You're going to make one of us mad.
Really? This is going to make you mad? Because I didn't pick your quarterback?
I'm just kidding. I love Russell Wilson.
Okay. I'm going to take.
And I get the benefit when he throws at the city.
Yep.
I'm going to take Russell Wilson just because I do think he is the better quarterback out of the two. But
I've been saying that since they got drafted.
But-
I don't want to hear it.
But yeah, I'll take Russell Wilson. Okay, next.
I'm going to do the matchups. The next up in the quarterback is Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson.
All right, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
Trogan, you want to start us on this one?
Yeah. Josh Allen.
Yes.
Okay.
Josh Allen, because I don't think Lamar Jackson's the passer that he's made out to be. And I think teams are starting to pick that up. They're taking I think if you take the Titans blueprint from last playoffs, take away the weapons and make Lamar beat you, I'm not saying it's going to be, I'm not saying it's the perfect idea.
No.
Lamar Jackson's still good,
Right.
but I just don't see that team being as dangerous if you just go after Lamar the whole game instead of trying to lock down his weapons, then he's going to get you just because he's not.
I feel like if you take away the short to intermediate routes and try to stack the box to stop on the run, you're going to live with him actually hitting these deep balls to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he has the accuracy to do so. So, yeah, you just let Marquise Brown run deep and you live with the consequences of him actually connecting on him because he's missed him about 6 or 7 times already this year.
And they don't have a consistent running game because no running back in Baltimore is getting consistent carries
Yeah,
outside of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
Josh Allen's a more accurate Cam Newton.
Right.
Big arm, runs big, more accurate.
He's
Now-
about to say he's making decisions
now,
this year.
Let me play a little devil's advocate to this.
Play it.
They're running him a lot, and he is taking more shots than a lot of other running quarterbacks. Lamar doesn't take very big hits.
He doesn't get hit.
Yeah,
He
we know Murray
braces
gets.
like-
Murray gets down. Him and Russell are the two best sliders baseball pass
Yeah.
in the NFL. And I've seen Allen a couple of times at the sticks lower his shoulder, and I want to yell at him, slide.
Can we say Cam
Get down.
learn from Cam? Cam is the worst slider I've ever seen in my life.
And I don't know. I mean, Cam was
It's like an LD pop-up slide.
Cam. I think
Without the pop-up.
Cam was
You're
stronger
right.
than Josh Allen. Like y'all watch Cam Newton's workout, like that dude is ripped,
Yeah.
and he couldn't even take that for a whole season.
No.
I'm telling Josh Allen, like, dude, your arm is way more valuable than what Newton's ever was. Don't try to run like him. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Like your body can't withstand it. So for the sake of that,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go Lamar because I'm afraid of Josh Allen hurting himself the way he's running right now. And they're not trying to. They've gotten better the last 2 weeks because they finally picked a freaking running back with
Yep.
Singletary, mainly due to injury. But it makes me a little nervous. It does. It makes me a little nervous with him running the way he is. With injuries, kind of, I'm looking down the road. Don't want him to get hurt.
I love the fact that you're having to explain to us why you're picking the guy that won MVP last year, unanimous, I think. Like, we shouldn't be having to have this argument, but that's how inefficient Lamar's been so far this year and how good Josh Allen has looked.
Well, I mean, and it's what happens when you have a whole season worth of film on somebody.
And also, it's what I said last week, one of the big takeaways from the week. Stephon Diggs has made that offense work so much better.
That offense is very different
Because John
with,
Brown's not a number one wide receiver, but you give him somebody like Diggs that can take attention away from the defense and still make plays.
the show.
Helps out quite a bit. And he's a fantastic route runner.
The show.
So he gives him big open windows where he doesn't have to fit it through a soup can type thing, where he doesn't have to be a small window. You can actually give him a wide range to throw to. Whereas John Brown had to be perfectly placed.
Good point.
Yeah.
So
I think
Josh
so.
Allen, and Lamar.
Jackson.
Yep.
All right. And then the last matchup we have here is don't call him Patrick Mahomes versus Kyler Murray.
Okay.
Murray. Present. Right.
Flight of the Concords. I'm going Patrick Mahomes. It's I don't know if I need to explain it. I think the floor of Murray being able to run the way he runs.
He's a very good runner.
Yeah.
It definitely helps him as far as his value, but
and he don't get his pocket presence is incredible.
He has the most rushing yards at QB, also the most touchdowns at QB.
right. I mean, it's
rushing wise.
basically that's his floor. But then he's got the arm talent and DeAndre Hopkins to throw to that helps him out. But Pat Mahomes did get paid $500 million for a reason, and I think he had a great week last week, but he hasn't had an MVP type season yet so far through 4 weeks. But I think it can come.
No.
Arm talent wise, where do you put Kyler at?
Kyler Murray arm talent,
Mm-hmm.
middle of the league maybe.
Really, you don't
Yeah.
have that much trust in his arm?
Just as far as just arm talent.
Like, watch him sing a couple, and he's got a big
for
arm.
sure. He's got a big arm.
Not a big believer in it.
Yeah, I love Kyler Murray. Absolutely love him. Would I want to have him in Los Angeles? Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
But I think there's a lot of other guys that have the arm talent but don't have the quarterbacking ability to go with it. Like Josh Rosen's got some arm talent. Do I want that guy stepping on the field for my team? Absolutely
I
not.
don't even want to step on the field.
No.
I want
Get
to
off the
small little sidebar real quick, and I want to take this time to issue my apologies to Matt Rule and the whole entire defense of the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I called you an embarrassment, the worst defense, that if you had a fantasy running back, prepare to eat when you play Carolina.
Echo did.
And yes, he did, but mainly through receptions.
Exactly.
It wasn't as much on the ground. And who won that game between the Panthers?
Snap the longest active losing streak in the NFL.
We're just going to say this. The Chargers don't beat the Panthers.
And-
It just doesn't happen. You know who else doesn't? Who played him yesterday?
Arizona. That's
Arizona
right.
does not
That's
beat
right.
Carolina.
That's true.
And
Especially not if Carson
I
Palmer's there.
really thought that offense was going to expose us again. I thought our pressure on the quarterback looked good. We didn't let Drake get going. And it was a little disappointing, going back and forth and watching a little bit of that. I like Murray. I think Murray, I'll say this, what he has over Mahomes, he has the better receiver to throw to because
For
he's
sure.
got Hopkins. All right.
Yeah.
I think we would all take Hopkins over Hill, right?
I would.
I mean, there's only
Possession
two
receiver, you got
I
a
would
big.
take.
The difference is that Mahomes might have more depth at that position because I consider really the 1A, 1B in Kansas City to be with the tight end and
Yeah,
Kelsey.
he's
as
got
well.
options.
So you got your underneath with your big play, which makes a defense very difficult to call because you don't know which one you're trying to take away more. I mean, it's Mahomes.
Yeah.
Mahomes against anyone on this list, other than maybe the first two. Well, I mean, Mahomes versus Allen's a good conversation. Mahomes versus Wilson's a good conversation, and Dak. But just from pure, the most impressive arm I've ever got to watch in the NFL, things that he can do throwing the ball, is Mahomes.
I mean, he's the best physical quarterback I've seen since, I don't know,
Say it. Say
Jamarcus
it, say
Russell,
it.
possibly?
Yeah.
I mean, the dude could throw 70 yards on his
Yeah.
knees.
Even though right now me and Charlton both are a little disappointed with Mahomes' stats, he needs to start picking it
Yeah,
up.
they're just not going to lose any games.
You think Kansas City goes undefeated?
I think if there's a team that can, it's them.
Either them or the Buccaneers, Gordon Ramsdale.
Maybe they do lose a game, but they're not going to get down to the point where they just have to just throw it.
They're never going to be projected to lose a game
No.
this season.
They're not going to have the same game script as Dallas where they get down 20 to Cleveland.
Because
Like,
Kansas
it's
City
just not
actually
gonna
has a
happen.
very competent defense. whereas
Right,
Dallas
they
doesn't.
do. So I don't think Mahomes has the ceiling this year as like Dak and Russell Wilson, and maybe
It's
Maybe-
hard to leave Allen out of these.
it's hard to leave Allen out of it. So I would say Mahomes might not have the ceiling of them. He may not have the floor of them.
I was about to say,
I think Patrick Mahomes is the best out of all of them.
he's
But
got the
fantasy-wise-
highest passing floor, but he doesn't have he's got the rushing ability, but they don't run him. Which if I'm paying a guy $500 million, I'm not running him.
6 quarterbacks we just named. Pick one to take for the rest of the season.
Fantasy wise,
Yes,
Fantasy wise,
Dak.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
All right, let's move on to the next position.
Wide receivers. Ryan, do you want to take over on this?
Sure. All right. First two we got teammate versus teammate.
Oh,
First one we're gonna do Calvin Ridley versus Julio Jones versus Russell Gage.
I know who I got on my
Throw
team.
one in there.
On my team. I got Russell Gage on my team. Not in this conversation.
Not in the conversation. All right, who you got in the conversation? Ridley versus Julio.
All right. Ridley on the season, 21 catches, 349, 4 touchdowns. Okay. Julio. I got to look up Julio because he's not in the top.
No, he's not.
Injured and then had a bad week.
Right.
11 catches, 181.
Which I think coming into this week, Ridley was the number 1 rated wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, that'll work.
I'll take Calvin Ridley because, well, Julio Jones is probably the most physical receiver, and he's always going to draw a double team. And
which is crazy that we're saying the best receiver in fantasy football is technically the number 2 on that team. The reason he has such good stats is because everyone's so paranoid about the guy on the other side.
I think that's why Calvin Ridley is the nod, fantasy-wise.
I mean, if you're in a lab and you said, we need to create the perfect wide receiver.
And then somebody say, oh, Jerry Rice has already been built.
You're either creating – I'm talking about just physical ability.
It's like saying basketball, you create LeBron James.
Yeah. You're creating Calvin Johnson.
With better hair.
You're creating Julio Jones, or you're creating a guy that we'll talk about in a minute. But
who's the other one you said?
Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, player to be named later.
I know who you're talking about.
So, I mean, if you've got a guy like that, and then yet I think I'm still going to go with Calvin Ridley. Like I said in my bold prediction, I think Calvin Ridley is just a touchdown machine because, number one, you're not doubling him down in the red zone because you're doubling Julio, even though he doesn't score touchdowns, maybe because he's always getting doubled. So, yeah.
Would you quadruple him? Would you ever quadruple him?
I've seen Antonio Gates quadrupled in the red zone, and Rivers still throw it to him. And I'm pretty sure before Calvin Ridley got drafted in Atlanta that Matt Ryan probably tried to force it into triple teams, quadruple teams to Julio before. So, yeah, I'm going Calvin Ridley.
JT, what did Ridley have last week with Julio out? What was his stats last week?
Julio absent, 5 for 110. No touchdowns. First week without touchdown. 13 targets.
But he's still,
Right. He
only had 5 receptions off 13 targets.
Against Chicago, and they lost that game. What do you know?
So
they lose every game.
Is he a benefactor of Julio? Is he as productive if Julio isn't there?
No.
I don't think so.
Especially on a team that plays from behind. I mean, like we talk about like Cooper and CD and a couple of these other names, but like when the quarterback's throwing for 500 yards, yeah, receivers are going to have bloated numbers. Mm-hmm. All right. In terms of talent, I think we all agree it's not even a question. Yeah, it's not even a question. But because of that, the other guy gets one-on-one matchups.
Yeah, I agree.
And he is good. I shouldn't just say good enough. He's still an elite receiver where you give one-on-ones, he's going to eat. He's going to win.
He's basically that.
Especially in the red zones because everyone's going to sit there and say that guy's not getting – because who is going to be easier to guard in the red zone? The 5'11" skinny receiver he's fast, but it wasn't like he blew you away at the combine fast.
Right.
Or the 6'4"
physical
freak who can jump out of the building guy. Like, I'm going to triple team Julio and just say, all right, best corner, go over there and try to lock down Ridley.
Calvin Ridley is the sharpshooter that stands in the corner and just watches Julio get double teamed and triple teamed, so he's just wide open for threes. He's not Klay Thompson because Klay Thompson's a physical freak of nature and Steph Curry's 2 foot tall.
Klay Thompson.
6'3", whatever. You get it.
He's
Kyle Korver.
Kill it, Kyle Korver. All right.
So we all went Ridley, but we all think Julio's the better wide receiver.
I think
fantasy-wise.
Yeah. But if we're talking about just fantasy numbers,
that's fair.
That's fair.
I think Russell Wilson's a better quarterback than Dak, but fantasy-wise, I'm taking Dak. So that's the same argument.
All right, well, we got our next matchup.
Speaking of Russell Wilson, his 2 wide receivers, Tyler Lockett versus Donkey Kong Metcalf.
Donkey Kong Metcalf.
Who you got?
Who I got?
By the way, DK Metcalf was that other wide receiver that you create in the lab that I was talking about with Calvin and Julio.
I'm going to start on this one since I have Russell Wilson. I like DK more because of the home run ball. And
You mean David Moore? The other wide receiver?
David Moore!
Welcome
to the podcast, David Moore.
This is what I think Russell has over the other quarterbacks we talked about. He might throw the best deep ball out of all of them.
He drops it in a
dude. He is
every time.
You look at a lot of his big plays; they're like rainbow shots that are landing right where no defender can get near it, only his receiver. And I still point at this. DK fumbled at the 1 yard line last week and took away another touchdown from Russell.
Which I think that Tyler Lockett scored on a 1 yard touchdown right after that.
He did.
Did they keep the ball? I thought that went out of bounds, out of the back of the end zone.
That's true. He scored a 1-yard touchdown.
He did score a
but it
1-yard
wasn't-
touchdown.
it
Good
wasn't
call.
out.
But DK's big. He's strong. He's fast. And a lot of teams are still treating Lockett right now like the number one.
No. Will y'all
Yeah.
stop? Will
Nah.
y'all
It
just
look-
stop playing around with New England and
It
just
looked like
wax
McKeel
them?
Hardman just touched that football, though.
Good thing he ain't on my team no more. What'd you do here? What'd you do? What are you even doing near the football?
Woo-hoo.
No,
Right through
he
the
did.
5-hole. He didn't.
How did
It looked
they?
like-
How did they roll it?
Oh, they rolled it. Kansas City's ball.
Okay,
First
all right,
and
it ain't changing.
DK and Lockett.
DK and Lockett, dude. A large part of me wants to say Lockett because
He's
is
the better route runner.
Yeah. But dude, I just look. DK hasn't. What's the most receptions DK's had in a game this year?
6.
All right, you got 6. What you got? Most receptions
5.
he's had. Most receptions he's had in a game, 4. And he did it in 4 straight games and had over 92 yards in all of them. So I'm gonna have to go Donkey Kong Metcalf.
Because
My final answer.
Because of big plays.
Yeah, the fact that he's had 16 catches for over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's just hard to go against Donkey Kong, man.
I'm going Lockett. I'm going against y'all thinking about every conversation we've had.
You know
so far.
why?
I think Lockett's
But
the
I feel
better
like
receiver.
Lockett gets all the short routes and the deep routes, and for as small as he is, he still gets touchdowns. He gets red zone looks, which makes no sense. So I think it's harder to game script Lockett out than it is you shade the safety over top of DK, and maybe he doesn't have those big catches. So
Okay.
who am I building my team around? DK.
Donkey Kong.
Who do I want the rest of this season? Probably Lockett.
All right. ROS, right? ROS.
ROS.
All right. What we got next on the ledger?
Next one. Former teammates.
Ooh.
Now they're on other teams. You got Adam Thielen. I'm hooked on him. Or Stephon Diggs. I was gonna let Jake cook on that song a little bit, boy.
All right. Thielen Diggs.
Oh, not there.
Throw it to
It
87.
ain't there.
Run it for a touchdown. Don't throw it to him. He don't know what he's doing.
All
It
right.
wasn't bad. I can't say anything. All right.
Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs.
Thielen Diggs.
Who's kicking? Is it Ryan starting to kick this one off?
Yeah, I'm gonna go first on this one.
I got mine.
I still think I'm gonna go Thielen. No, actually, take that back. I'm gonna go Diggs.
Boom!
Diggs.
You went contrarian of your contrarian nature.
No, I wanted to go Thielen just because I like him a lot more, but
This isn't about liking, Ryan.
Better route runner, but he has been getting injured a lot.
I don't know. Are you saying Thielen's a better route runner than Diggs?
I think so.
Diggs is a fantastic route runner
I'm
too.
not questioning that. I really like the way Thielen.
But I don't feel like it's.
I like the home run ball more with Diggs.
He's got negative,
Yeah,
I'm
and Josh
going
Allen.
Diggs.
negative points. He's got points taken away, Ryan.
I'll take it.
Minus 0.1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but I think
freaking
I'm
Mahomes
going
got you
Diggs.
7.1.
All right, they are neck and neck fantasy wise. 65.6 for Mr. Thielen and 65.3 for
Wow.
Mr. Diggs. Me, I'm gonna take the guy with the more receptions, the more targets, the more yards. Just hadn't found the end zone quite as much. I'm gonna go Mr. Stephon Diggs.
There you go.
Stefan.
All right. Jake, did you make your pick? Who'd you pick?
Diggs.
Thielen?
I think we all.
No, I went-
I think we
I
all
went
went
You
Diggs.
all went Diggs. That's
Yeah.
a first.
We dug it
That's
up.
a first.
We dug it up.
That's a first.
I think we all went.
I'm
Calvin
digging
Ridley
what we're
also.
doing.
All right. What we got? We got one more.
Last one
Yeah,
for the
that's
wide
right.
receiver matchup. 2 guys that are injured. 2 guys that are studs. You got Michael Thomas and Devontae Adams.
Michael Thomas. All
So
right.
the injury reserve list.
So do we?
Yes.
Should I even pull this up? I don't think
No,
so.
their stats
No,
are
I
irrelevant.
don't
this
think
year.
stats
so.
are not.
Who do I
Well,
want?
Devontae had a dominant week 1, and Michael Thomas was struggling week 1 and got hurt week 1.
Who's going first?
I think this one's
I
me.
think this one's on Jake.
I don't like the way Brees has looked. Rodgers has looked good without Adams, and he still has an arm and able to get it downfield. And the fact that he threw it 20 times it felt like to Adams in week 1 with a
Yeah.
monstrous output. I feel like New Orleans. I don't know if Brees can throw the big ball anymore. They were giving the ball to Kamara a lot more screen game. I'd probably go Adams. I'm feeling pretty good about the Adams pick.
You know what Drew Brees has for an arm? A wet noodle. And you said it.
Wet noodles
he can't
make
throw
good.
it. He can't throw it, dude.
And when
Honestly, Drew Brees looked good at the end of last year because he had 5 games off during the middle of the season.
Yeah.
When he was injured, Teddy Bridgewater throw it around a little bit. I think Brees, that's just his game, dude. His game used to be throwing those deep balls. His guys just somehow find a way to come down and get it or go up and get it. I just don't think that's. I don't think he's got the arm strength to do it anymore. I'm taking Davante Adams because Aaron Rodgers is really good. Davante Adams is really good. I'll take both of them being really good.
Right. Yeah, and you need both sides of that battery working to charge up that offense. That's all I'm saying.
Science.
Yeah, we get it. Now, you said Drew Brees is a wet noodle.
Wet noodle.
Now, if you put a wet noodle, put a little Alfredo sauce, a little bit of shrimp from down there to Bayou,
It still tastes good.
get a little shrimp scampi going on.
It
Still works.
Still works.
Still works.
Is
But
it
I
my
think
first pick?
I think I'd rather take the steak, which is Adams and Rodgers. But I mean, I think Michael Thomas,
steak is on.
he helps out Brees a lot because he just gets open in those short,
And he's not a
underneath,
burner.
intermediate routes. Which, yeah, Michael Thomas is not taking the top off the defense, which I don't think Drew Brees has the arm to do that anymore. But his entire last 5 years has been, I'm just more accurate than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Which now that accuracy's starting to slip a little bit. I think it's because the arm strength's starting to slip a little bit. He can't fit it through those tight windows as much as he used to. I think Michael Thomas will help out because he masked a lot of that, but I'm still going Davante Adams because he runs the entire route tree and he can take the top.
I'll take either one on my team. So if y'all want to trade me for Odell Beckham, I'm all ears.
Yeah. I ain't
No takers?
that.
Okay. Neither one of
That's
y'all.
what I thought.
I don't have either one.
All right. So moving on to
Running backs.
is that kind of like the king position in fantasy football? Running backs.
It's the ones
Yeah.
that go the quickest.
I mean,
It's where the top tier have the biggest gap between the next tier.
Yep. You have your studs.
your
But
duds.
The drop off between your studs and your average players is significant.
What should we call average players? Suds.
Joes.
Joes.
Average Joes.
Average Joes. All right, let's pull up some RB action going in here. All right. There we go. All right, here's what we got. Jake, hit us on some matchups.
First one we're going to go with are the top 2 running backs in fantasy football right now. The number 1 running back for the New Orleans Saints, Kamara, versus the number 2 running back, explosives the last 2 weeks, really picked up his fantasy value.
Number 2.
Dalvin Cook.
This is tough.
It's tough.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I believe it's tough. Because Michael Thomas is going to take away some of those receptions that Kamara's going to get.
Sure.
Agree.
Because without Michael Thomas, Drew Brees can't throw the ball down the field. He's just peppering.
Concur.
Pepper and Thomas with as many targets as he can handle.
He is.
And he handles them all.
Pepperoo.
Right.
He set the record last year for receptions.
Right. So I expect Kamara's receiving to go down a little bit. I still expect him to be good, but I expect his receiving to go down a little bit. But Dalvin Cook, I don't trust that dude to be healthy for 16 games.
No.
So the rest of the season, I don't want to win weeks 1 through 13. It's 14 through 16.
Which I'm pretty sure he dominated last year, and you get to the fantasy playoffs, and you're like, man,
Boom.
Alexander
Done.
Madison's got to
Right.
go in there.
So I'm taking Kamara. And I feel
I don't
Pretty
trust
good.
Kirk Cousins either.
yeah.
That's the other thing is if Kirk Cousins starts sucking again, you load the box. At least Kamara has another trick. It's not just running. The best running back, Cook. In terms of between the tackle, running the football, Cook's better in that matchup.
I got a question I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
Both of you. How many receptions do you think Dalvin Cook has on the season?
10 or less.
4.
Okay, man. I thought he had more than this. He has 7.
I was about to say, I don't know how many he had yesterday, but I knew it was
He
pretty
has
low.
2-point conversions.
He has 3.
2-point conversions. That adds an extra touchdown.
Yeah. 6 extra points on his
So,
Saints.
Which I think we've talked about 3 running backs in the last couple of weeks that haven't been catching the ball a lot, and that was Cook, Mixon, and Drake. And that's 3 things that all 3 of them can do. And Kamara might do it better than
Kamara right now,
everybody
with
in the
especially
league with-
McCaffrey out.
with McCaffrey and Austin Eckler out right now.
Yeah.
He's probably the best wide receiver or receiving back. In the
Eckler's
league.
not out. Let's just chill.
I
He's
said
just
out
taking
right
a little
now.
break. He's taking a little break. He's coming back. Everybody
Mike
just
Davis.
chill.
He's got 21 catches, dude. What?
I think
Joe Brady.
I think the fourth quarter that McCaffrey got hurt in, I think he got 8 catches
He did
on
get
one
8.
drive.
But dude, isn't that wild?
Joe
Isn't that
Brady will be a
wild?
head coach in the NFL in the next 5 years.
Yeah, he's got a shot to be
As much as people want to take the young coach who's
got
like
the
offensive
Shanahan
minded,
McVay type, all written all over him.
Yeah,
Colin.
that's a good point.
Colin.
All right, so do we all go Kamara?
I went Kamara.
I hadn't talked about it yet. Kamara, even if Thomas comes back and takes some of those touches away, I think the offense moves the ball a little bit better, so he's got a chance to have some goal line carries.
Agreed.
Here's a good matchup: Ezekiel Elliott versus Jones.
Aaron, not Ronald.
Yeah, very good. Aaron Jones. I'll start this one. I have Zeke, so you feel like Zeke would be the better call. I just don't like how the offense is using him right now. I feel like actually from a talent standpoint, especially among those that are healthy, he might be the most talented running back. He has soft hands. I think he caught every pass thrown to him yesterday. That was actually where most of his stats came from. Yeah. He's averaging like over 5 yards a carry. He's not got a lot of touchdowns right now. Some of that's like getting tackled at the inch line and taking in Pollard or having Dak run it in. Dak had 3 rushing touchdowns last week, which just dumbfounds me with Zeke that you don't give him the ball. I really like Zeke's talent, but I don't think he's getting used right. Where compared to, I think Green Bay's found that happy marriage with Aaron Jones. I think finally, Rodgers is kind of willing to accept, we have to establish a running game for me to have more things open, not me throw it 50 times a game and be the guy who's controlling the ball for a majority of it. I mean, he loves holding the football, even when he's in the pocket. It's not like Rodgers has ever been a quick throw guy. He likes to survey, hold the ball for a long time. So with all that being said, who do I take moving forward? I want to say Zeke because he's on my team. I just don't like the way the offense is moving for his value compared to Jones, where I think, especially if any other injuries happen to that receiving core, he might be, especially with Adams out tonight, the best receiver on that team, as well as the clear-cut number 1 running back.
Yeah, I think Aaron Jones coming into after week 3 had the most red zone targets, if I'm not mistaken, in the league. I think he had like 9. And I think Calvin Ridley had 8, and a couple other people had it, and Hopkins maybe had 8. But
and he has benefited from Adams being out.
When Adams is out, Aaron Jones is a legit number 1 running back, like possibility to be number 1 overall. When Adams is back in, he's
top 10,
bottom tier of our running back ones, but he's still a running back 1. But he's closer to like that 7, 8, 9, 10 range.
So who you take?
I'm taking Jones just for the situation.
Oh, so we're going between y'all's players again. That's what we're doing.
But I took Jones.
I know. But I just realized
if you flip the situation, I'm taking Zeke.
Yeah.
It's just because
I think if
Green Bay's got a better defense, they've got better game scripts that are going to work better.
That was a good play.
If Zeke is on Green Bay, he's number 1 running back in football right now.
Exactly.
And I say that with full confidence.
Because LaFleur's knowing how to use them, whereas Dallas is getting down so early, so long, they just abandon the run. Which I think if you're down 14-0 in the first quarter, you can still run the ball and establish the run. You don't have to abandon it altogether in the first quarter.
I could put Zeke on about any other team right now, and I would make an argument he's the number 1 running back in football. Even in Carolina, they're consistently putting other guys. Like Mike Davis was getting cut on practice squads and everything else and doing well. I think you could really put Zeke in a lot of other situations, and he would get more opportunity than what he's been getting down.
Sure.
And it's not like his numbers are bad in Dallas. I don't think he's been under 14 yet this season. I mean, he's
done the most with the opportunities he's been given. Like, it's not like he's played poorly, so they get taken the ball out of his hands.
And for a guy that, some people were like questioning character, I feel like a couple years ago when he held out and stuff like that, which, I mean, should, because it was kind of a selfish move.
He got suspended for half the season.
Yeah, that was something they did in college, though, right?
Yes.
I thought he hit a girl.
I thought that was in college, though.
Yeah, that was when it was.
They would just. I think it just went to court for that.
Oh, okay.
But
I don't think he's really had an issue since he's been drafted.
But seriously,
he could. He probably has, but we don't know.
How mad would you have been if you were Ezekiel Elliott? Like, they finally paid you, but now, I feel like all Dallas has tried to do is get Dak paid for the last 2 years. And have almost been he's a top 5 quarterback talent, which I'm not questioning. Dak's proved a lot to me in terms of his ability, but I don't know if I have him as a top 5 quarterback talent right now.
No.
So
fantasy, yes. NFL, no.
That's what.
It's close.
Yeah, he's moving up there.
He's moved up, but he's also been given more opportunity than just about anybody with weapons that many other people don't have.
Yeah, which I think I think Jerry's playing a dangerous game though, because if you're trying to get Dak paid, you want him to succeed and do good numbers. But the better he gets, the more expensive that contract's going to be. So it's a catch-22. Like you want him to succeed and do well.
Lose.
That is a catch-22.
Who you gonna take?
Ezekiel Elliott. They got 6 games remaining in that division. That division sucks.
Thank God you brought that up.
But hold on
they haven't played a division game yet. They're not going to get. Their defense is not good.
Washington's defensive line is legit.
Fair
They've
enough.
got like 4
their
first
offense,
rounders.
But their offense is not.
Well, you talking about that Kyle? You talking
And
about
if
that
they get
Kyle
leads,
Allen offense is going to be running
no,
Washington?
If they get leads, Zeke will get a heavy dose.
No offense in their division is as good as the Rams.
Nope.
Is as good as the Falcons.
Nope.
Is as good as the Seahawks.
Nope.
Hell, I'd even say they're not as good as Cleveland.
Cleveland's offense under Stefanski, if they can figure it out,
Looks pretty good right now.
It does. I mean, he's
with Chubb and Hunt.
yeah.
Now it'll be
Stefanski and Bill Callahan running that offense as far as the running game.
Yeah, their
worked out
offense
great.
has looked pretty good outside of week 1. So I'll take Zeke because he's got 6 games against really bad teams.
Thank you for making me feel better.
Oh,
I did not put
what I'm
that
here
in perspective. Thank you for that.
All right.
And then the last matchup we have, we've been asking for 2 players to break out, one of which has still not done it, which is Drake. The other one finally broke out this past week, Joe Mixon. So Joe Mixon broke out, and the other player who maybe will benefit from an injury and an offense that has been running an absurd amount. Just ran all over Dallas. I think they had over 225 total rushing yards. Kareem Hunt. So, JT, I'll let you wait on this one just because you do have Hunt. Between Mixon and Hunt, who do I like moving forward? I'm going to take Kareem Hunt, and I'll tell you why. First off, Joe Mixon might be the better runner. This is kind of going back to the Kamara and Cook aspect of it. Joe Mixon between the tackles is a powerful runner. He's a good runner, but I think he benefited a lot yesterday from the fact that finally they were winning a game, and they could actually not have to throw it 50 times with Joe Burrow. I don't know how many games they're going to have that situation in, so I can see Joe Burrow throwing more, him not getting the same opportunities, doesn't catch the ball as well. Compared to Kareem Hunt, jack of all trades. Just as good of a receiver as he is a runner. Without a couple weeks without Chubb taking goal line carries from him and first down carries. I mean, in a lot of senses, first down carries from Kareem Hunt's opportunity is going to be there. I had Kareem Hunt 2 years ago when he was in Kansas City. I was telling Ryan this before we started the podcast. I thought I had the best team going into the playoffs that year. And then Kareem Hunt got suspended and kicked off Kansas City. Was rolling. I had a good team. Kareem Hunt was like 20 points a game for me in Kansas City's offense. I mean, it felt great. And then, the domestic violence situation happened. Him getting more consistency and a rhythm within that offense. And like Ryan said, I think the offense is starting to click. Odell performing better. Baker found a little bit more comfort. I think it balances things out. He's involved in the passing game. He's the only one getting touches. I think Kamara's ceiling is higher. Now, how long is Chubb out and what's his impact when he comes back on the rest of the season? I still like Hunt when he comes back to still be the pass catcher and get equal amount of opportunity, because I feel like if he establishes himself, it's not like Chubb can come back and immediately goes back to like an 80-20 or something absurd, which is not even that now. I could definitely see a 50-50 system moving forward that has been very successful early on.
It's a little bit I think it's tough because Chubb coming back at the end of the season. Like, who do I want rest of season? Well, for the next 5-6 weeks, I want Kareem Hunt. But when Chubb comes back, I think it makes it a little bit more interesting. Honestly, I think it could be a toss-up. I tried to get Joe Mixon this past weekend. I tried to trade Kareem Hunt for him. And I thought about it today, too. I personally, because I feel more comfortable with Kareem Hunt because I drafted him.
There you go.
And I said, this is my guy. God, Patrick Mahomes. All right, sorry.
You're struggling.
I think I would go Mixon.
Okay.
I would say I would go Mixon just if they figure out how to use him correctly, which I think yesterday started say, hey, you get the guy involved in the passing game, he can be dominant. You already know what he can do on the ground. You get them in some closer games. I think Burrow's only going to get better. And yeah, if Chubb doesn't come back this year, then it's Hunt. Because I think they're going to get similar volumes to each other. But who do I want rest of season? I think I can rely on Mixon the entire season.
I get that.
As a number one, which I think Hunt can be a number two
Go big
for
fella.
the rest of the year.
Score, big fella. He didn't score.
But I'm going Mixon. But, he's got 1 out of 4 weeks where that makes me look like a genius, but 3 weeks makes me look like, hey, should I drop Joe Mixon?
Yeah.
So which one's going forward? But I'm going to hopefully this momentum starts for Joe Mixon and it turns into something.
Yeah, it could. He struggled the first half of the season last year and then really picked it up down the stretch. He could do it again.
I took Aaron Jones in the second round of our draft. If Joe Mixon was there, I would have taken Joe Mixon. So.
Yeah, if I would have stayed at 9, what I wanted to do is go Jacobs Mixon.
Yeah.
Or Mixon Jacobs, whichever one.
Right.
Jacobs.
But yeah, if Kamara was there, I'd probably have taken him. All right. So does that? Oh, we still got
brings up
one more.
We still got a position.
We just got tight ends left. All we got left is tight ends. We're only going to do 2 matchups for tight ends. We're going to speed through these pretty quick.
It's a triple header.
It's a triple threat match.
Triple threat. All right. Oh, I love triple threats. My favorite type of wrestling match. All right, let's hear it.
All right, we got Kelsey versus Kittle versus Mandrews.
Okay.
Let's save Ryan for last on this one.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because these are y'all's 2
Yes.
players.
Well, we each have one with Andrews, the oddball out.
Rand's D. Roster sample.
Me or you first?
You.
All right.
You know what I'm
I'm going to go and make a case for my guy real quick. And Kittle got hurt week 1. He actually got hurt before half with a knee, but tough guy that he is, went out there and battled it back out. Missed the next 2 weeks. Really could have played last week, but they were playing, I think, the Giants or the Jets. Either way, it was a bad team in New York on MetLife after all the ACL tears the week before. So a guy with a bum knee, they're like, yeah, we're not bringing him back yet. Comes back last night with the backup quarterback and absolutely feast. And everyone knew he was going to get the ball.
Yep.
All right. And he was the best player on the field. I'm going to make the point that he does not have to battle as much as Kelsey for targets. I feel like he will get targeted more. I think he's every bit, if not better, of a route runner and catcher than the other 2. And so I'm going to make the case that Kittle's going to have more opportunity. He's going to be a red zone hog and get a lot of targets there. And especially if Jimmy G comes back, well, heck, even Mullins, man, he had a good rhythm with him. I mean, he just plays hard. He does a lot on the field. I'm going to go with Kittle.
I'm pretty sure when Kittle broke the record for receiving for a tight end a couple years ago, Mullins was his quarterback for almost every single one of those games because Garoppolo got hurt early.
Yeah.
And Mullins came in and lit it up.
All right.
JT, let's go with you, buddy.
All right. I'm taking Travis Kelsey, of course. Oh, do not score there. Do not. He just did. He just scored. Was that a run?
I think it was a run.
I think it was a run, too. You got the kid. All right. I'm taking Travis Kelsey.
It was not a run.
It was not?
No, my Holmes now has you 14.3.
Hey.
It was one of those pop passes, probably.
That's not a run.
Kelsey's got you 7.9.
That works.
Hilaire's
Needs
got
more, but that's good. All right. I'm taking Travis Kelsey. I could sit here and say that, I agree that George Kittle is going to be very good. I don't think you could go wrong either way. But as a wise man once said, to be the man, you've got to beat the man. Woo! That was Ric Flair that said that. And Travis Kelsey.
Context exclusive, the woo kind of.
You gave it away. Travis Kelsey is still the man, I would say, at tight end because, he's just been in the league longer.
I think he's got 4 straight seasons of finishing the year as tight end number 1.
Yeah, he does. So until George Kittle does it, I'm going to stick with Travis Kelsey. But can I see George Kittle finishing the year tight end number 1? Yes, but it's going to be harder because now he has missed a game.
He's missed 2 games.
2 games. So
actually, 2.5 games.
So
he got hurt week 1.
Yeah, the consistency of Kelsey, year in, year out, game in, game out, is hard to beat. Kittle, I think, might have more touchdown upside just because he's got less mouths to feed in the passing game. The only knock I would have on Kittle is that he's such a good run blocker that he's got more possibility to get rolled up on, more possibility to get injured, which I'm pretty sure is how he's got hurt a couple times in his career, is just getting rolled up on in the run game, because he's basically what Gronk was for so long. He's a fantastic pass catcher, but he's also a good run blocker.
Man,
but because they don't have as many mouths to feed, I think Kittle might have more touchdowns in the year, so I think I'm going to go Kittle. And the fact that we didn't bring up Mark Andrews just basically means that this is a two-horse race.
But Mark Andrews will be good, but he ain't gonna be
Andrews
tough.
doesn't belong in any other conversation, because you put Andrews against anyone else on the list, it's Mark Andrews. I say the biggest knock against Andrews is
Andrews doesn't get the yards, but he gets those wide open touchdowns.
Yeah, he does. That's the big thing. You don't see him until red zone, which he's a red zone theme and gets a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah.
But I don't like the fact that he finishes the game like 4 catches, 60 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
I mean, I do like the 2
I like the 2 touchdowns, but what if he doesn't? Then it's
exactly.
a
If he doesn't score, he
has
Jimmy
a
Graham
touchdown every 3 catches right now. I just don't see that being sustainable.
It's very tough.
Or else he's about to have a lot of freaking touchdowns.
Or I want me some Mark Andrews.
If he starts getting 9 catches a game,
I want me some Mark Andrews.
Right. All right. Last one for rest of season. Who you want? Darren Waller,
ROF.
Jonnu Smith, Noah Fant.
Okay.
Who are you taking?
I'm
Jake,
going first on this
be the
one
first
because
one.
I'm the one that doesn't have it. I can't speak on Fant. I haven't watched Denver enough. I don't know who the quarterback's going to
Probably a
be
smart man.
week from week.
Mark Rippon said it.
Yeah, well, and the
Yes.
crazy thing is he was the number 1 tight end going into tonight.
Yeah.
He'd also played one more game than the rest.
Damian Harris
They
might
played
have just
Thursday.
broken off like a 40 or 50-yard run. Yep.
And so, again, I'm going to leave him out because I haven't watched enough and I don't feel comfortable saying it.
All right.
The next 2, between Waller and
Jonnu Smith.
I like Waller as a talent, but I don't like Oakland's offense. I think some games it looks good. I just traded for Jacobs.
Because they don't play there.
And Jacobs is, Las Vegas. Jacobs is last 2 weeks under 10 points. Waller is up and down a lot to me. And Tennessee consistently uses a tight end. I like Smith's upside, man. I think Derrick Henry is going to continue to eat. If Brown comes back and opens up over the top. With that also being said, Brown coming back takes away some touchdown opportunities from Smith. And Waller is about the only red zone target receiver that I like on Oakland. So there's Las Vegas. Sorry, guys, it's still changing tones here. San Diego's next. So.
Hey, San Diego. They do have the best tight end in football.
I was talking myself into Smith, and then I talked myself into Waller.
So you're going no Fant?
So I'm going no Fant.
Oh, gosh. I saw that happening, and I was like, what's he doing right here?
I made a case for both. I mean,
the only difference between Fant and that's Kelsey. Never mind. Okay. Ron, who you taking?
I don't know. Who are you taking?
Between Fant, Waller, and Smith, I don't know, dude. Waller's going to get targeted a lot. He's never been, or I say never, he just hasn't been like a red zone threat.
He's not, and that's what Jonnu is.
I know.
But Jonnu's also a physical freak.
He is.
But they run so much in Tennessee that the opportunities are lower.
I could easily see Darren Waller having more receptions, more yards, and Jonnu having more touchdowns, and they pretty much watch each other on that.
All right, on a much lower level, Kelsey's more like Waller in the fact that they're basically glorified big slot receivers, whereas Jonnu and Kittle are more inline tight ends that can catch a lot more touchdowns just because of the way their offenses are set up.
Fant's more of a slot type.
Yeah.
And then Mark Andrews is more of an inline.
Yeah.
We went full circle.
We figured this thing out. What a journey. What a journey. All right,
I
boys.
like slot tight ends.
And I like old school H-back, like inline tight ends.
So I'll take Waller.
All right. So that
wraps it up.
That wraps up our quarter poll for
2 hour.
Oh, yeah. Man, that was a ride. All right, we got to look at some matchups real quick, boys.
We're going to do a very high-level matchup review.
Yeah. It's gonna be quick, but it's gonna be good. All right, so let's go with ones that are already wrapped up because there's one that's just way too close. Let's look at
every one of them's basically wrapped up,
except for
ours at the table.
Yeah.
Our 3 matchups at the
Yeah.
table.
All right, let's go bye week. Steve Reitmeyer versus All Barkley, no bite. Michael Smith. All right. So Reitmeyer's team's much more dangerous than we gave credit originally.
Yep.
Even-
Healthy wide receivers will do that for him.
Yeah.
And Dalvin.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
Dalvin
even
Wayne.
with Darrell Henderson getting 4.3, didn't slow him down.
Which will not be his running back for at least the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, because he's got Josh Kelly,
Yes.
and he's going to be that guy.
Yeah. And eventually Bell gets off the IR, so even if Kelly starts losing.
I think Bell's supposed to come back next week.
Yeah. So again, Reitmeyer's team went from where he called it bye week, and we were kind of like, oh God, this could be a bottom guy, to he might have one of the best teams.
He's got guys that we've talked about tonight: Josh
Yeah.
Allen, Dalvin Cook. He's got both of them.
Yeah.
Mike Evans,
Mike Evans, Kenny Galladay,
Tyreek Hill. Like, he's got a
Tyreek
good
Hill.
freaking
Golly.
squad.
Yeah.
The Reitmeyer's team looks a lot better in week 4 than it did in week 2.
He needs to change his name to bye week, but I think he's got good mojo with it, so he's going to keep it.
Yeah, I think he's got to. His team looks really good. Michael's
Team, on the other hand, is closer to the other end of the spectrum.
Michael was hurt this week with James Conner being on like a impromptu bye because who did he start in his place? Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson was his top scoring running back though.
Yeah, because he had Kenyon Drake at 3.5.
Adrian Peterson not only had more rushing yards by 1, also had a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
So that was a good pickup. Mike Gesicki, two points.
I mean, this matchup's technically not over because you got Tyreek Hill and Hayden Hurst going against each other. So Hayden Hurst puts up like a 60 bomb.
All right, let's see Hayden Hurst. What's the likeliness of that happening? So Hayden Hurst, 5.3, 15.7.
He's got 27.6 on the season.
All right, if he takes that and triples it tonight, he might be Reitmeyer. Then that's you're saying there's a chance.
All right, that's done. That matchup's
Yeah.
over. Sorry, Mike. It just didn't work
yeah,
out for you this
sorry,
week,
Mike.
buddy.
Sorry, Mike. Will Fuller did good. That's good.
And he stayed healthy. He finished the game.
That's good.
Attaboy, Will.
That's good. All right, next matchup. Let's look at
Jordan Scorps is finished.
Jordan Scorp. So here's what we got. Jordan Scorp. So Jordan's going to be
Undefeated.
4-0
Yeah.
with what, the third least amount of points.
Yeah.
So Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson ended up with what, 128.
They
Total yards?
worked him in the passing game
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah, because it has been McKissick, and McKissick still had a good game, like
Yeah.
receiving wise. I think he had
Right.
7 catches. I mean, that Tyler Boyd trade looked good.
Yeah. I mean,
he got Tyler
I
Boyd
think-
and Devin Singletary. Both of them put up more than 12.9.
I think a lot of people, when it happened, were kind of questioning it because they thought Zach Moss was going to take a lot away from Singletary. I was still real big on Singletary. I didn't want to let go of him, but I felt really good about my other 3 running backs. So he was just going to be a bye-week plug. And it wasn't like Tyler Boyd was doing bad. It was just I didn't really trust that offense, and I wanted to go with a more proven, solidified number 1 with Juju. But Tyler Boyd will never be more than, especially when his receivers get healthy, which he didn't play Julio tonight, and he has Michael Thomas on the bench. You're looking at it now, Thomas, Julio, Diggs, and Tyler Boyd is fighting to get into his flex position with Judy as well, who has good upside.
He'll take Judy out.
I think so as well. I don't think you take out.
I would take out Jarvis Landry.
Well,
Landry's
he doesn't
out.
have a fluky pass touchdown.
Because you're gonna
right
start
there.
having
I've already have Jarvis Landry out.
Yeah,
I have Michael
having-
Thomas,
okay.
Julio Jones, and Diggs.
Yeah,
It's
but
his
bye
3.
weeks start next week, so he might have to.
He
might not have to start.
Next
He has
week,
the- he has-
linebackers.
I think he has the best 4 receivers. Like
Yeah, for
when
sure.
healthy, that's
does.
and
Which
then-
I mean, he went 4 wide receivers in the running back, or 3 wide
if
receivers.
he
in
can
the running
have
back?
his
He went Lamar Jackson in there too.
So he went Michael Thomas.
he got
Julio.
Diggs in like the 5th or 6th.
Lamar Jackson, and then Juju.
No, he went Juju for his 3rd
his
wide
fourth.
receiver.
Or his fourth.
His 4th pick, but his 3rd wide receiver.
Dude, interesting. Lamar Jackson finished with exactly his projection of 26.02. Exactly.
That is insane.
That is weird, right?
Good job, Yahoo.
Yeah. You know what? We don't give you enough credit, Yahoo. Honestly, they're pretty close on a lot of Jordan projections.
Aaron Jones just scored a touchdown. Next matchup.
Well, hold on.
I'm
Let's
just kidding.
look at
I'm just
scores.
kidding. Scorp's got a good squad, man.
It just didn't come together this week.
Yeah.
DJ
just
had a
happens.
good game, not a huge game. Kamara had 19 and still didn't reach his projection. If that tells you something.
DJ Moore's killing his team, and then Joe Burrow had his worst fantasy game. It was his first win, but his worst fantasy game, I think, of the year.
Yeah, Zach Ertz ain't helping him. I think better days are ahead, but
I've seen better days.
Yeah, Mike Davis is solid, though. Mike Davis is solid as a flex.
Yeah,
he's solid. He's solid.
Miles Sanders, you have to imagine better days are ahead.
Relying on his Eagles this week, which is, I think Jake mentioned it in the preview, that they're going to get all the targets, which could be really good or really bad. And it ended up not being great for a game that they won on a pick six late.
Pick six late, you're right. He could have went Ronald Jones.
Yep.
But he had to still wouldn't have mattered. All right. Let's take a look at our next matchup, which is
Victim of the System versus Baba Booey.
Say that again?
Baba Booey.
Oh, okay.
Question mark.
Question mark.
All right.
Baba Booey. Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon. Yeah.
Mark
Joe.
Andrews and Thielen.
Everybody did good except for Chubb. But
Yep.
who got hurt?
Yep.
Well, saying everybody did good, but Chubb, I think Chubb had 6 carries for like 43 yards. Like he was lightened up in the first quarter and just got hurt.
His bench looked pretty good for the most part.
Like,
Justin Jefferson, Ali Cox only had 1 catch for a touchdown.
I might put Jefferson in my flex moving forward.
Yeah, over David Johnson.
Well, no, David Johnson's gonna have to go in his running back spot now.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and I think he's got one of the underrated tight ends on here on his bench.
Mo Alley Cox.
Yeah.
Touchdown machine.
Which if they can just cut Jack Doyle off the Colts because he can't catch and let Mo Alley Cox get all the snaps, it would work a whole lot better.
You know, Brian felt good after Melvin Gordon had gone.
Yep.
And had it when we talked about it. But Kyler, I thought, was going to have a bigger game and didn't result in that. Hopkins was average.
I think Hopkins still had like 9 catches or something like that. He just
all underneath.
No yards.
41.
Yeah.
Robertson, I guess, did not get in the end zone. I'm looking at 12.7, so I'm guessing not.
No touchdown for James Robinson.
Henry was bad. Wilson Jr. was bad.
He started Wilson over McKinnon, which I don't know if he did that because McKinnon wasn't healthy. Maybe it was questionable going in. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it was
especially
McKinnon.
after the week McKinnon just had.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of afraid of
Crowder
as well.
Yeah,
but I mean, he didn't really lose.
But Crowder played on Thursday night, right? So
Yeah.
it was tough to put him in that early.
It would. And the only thing he would have done is put him in his flex.
Right.
Because he ain't taking out D-Hop, Calvin Ridley, or even Robbie Anderson at this point.
Right.
So
again, this week will be his worst week, but I mean, Brown's still got a good team.
Yeah, pending Calvin Ridley, if Calvin Ridley has what he's been having,
did Andrew?
And Brian can still finish with 120.
Yeah, seriously.
I think Andrew had, and it's a high score. It's more than I've scored the whole season, 153 in a week. That's Andrew's highest output.
I think so.
Yeah.
Again, you face Brian, get ready to have a good week.
True.
I put up my highest against Brian.
Reitmeyer did. Reitmeyer put the highest.
Week 2, I would beat Brian 169 to 160, which is crazy.
Brian's victory came, but the person that lost to him was Skort. Well, Skort put up 104, but Brian put up 170.
Yeah, I mean, Brian's been putting up 150 plus basically every week so far. He's just had some bad luck.
And then I guess we can look at me and Broach's real quick.
Yeah.
Broach, kind of got bit by the injury bug right there. Adams, who tweeted that he knew his body and had done everything asked of him and felt like he should be able to play tonight, told by doctors he could not. And I think he was a little upset about that decision. And he wasn't able to switch it. The person he would have plugged in would have been Edelman. Edelman's got 3.7. So, I mean, it's a loss. I'm not questioning that, but as of right now, it's not a huge loss.
It wouldn't have made a difference, I don't think.
Probably not, especially if.
I mean, because right now with his projections,
projections wouldn't meet.
It's not meeting what you currently have, and you still have Marquez Valdez-Scantling going.
Yeah,
and he's just got Gurley and Rodgers.
Yes.
Yeah. George Kittle looked good, as we said. Ezekiel Ellis still had a good fantasy day. He'll be better.
8 receptions on 8 targets.
He's going to be okay. If you want to get rid of him. But he's going to be okay.
Wilson had his worst game of the year so far, and he still put up 21.9.
Yeah. CeeDee Lamb looked good.
We watched the Indy game yesterday. That was just a bad game to watch. It was just bad.
It was all the 4 o'clock games were terrible. It was tough to watch the Rams-Giants game.
The Buffalo-Vegas game was okay.
It wasn't terrible.
Yeah, it was okay.
But the other 2 were just
Eckler getting hurt.
And Arizona's defense.
Yeah.
Giving up points.
I really want to ride them out just because of who they got next week.
Who they got next week?
The Jets.
Oh, good.
So I kind of they had some like 1 or 2 games where I was like, that's not a great matchup. They've been playing well. Again, they've had 15, 13, and 7, and I was like, that's not bad. They got 7 against Detroit. Carolina's offense just went berserk, and they only had 3 fantasy points. But I was one that was kind of hit by the random bye a little bit, and of course injuries really have gotten me. Juju out, Sony Michelle now on IR, Brown out. I picked up Burkhead. Picked up Winfo, Hunter Renfrow. Williams out, Lazard out. It's been a little tough, man.
It's been a roller coaster.
Again, y'all know I put in Ty, and
we're just gonna shout out the Cowboys in this matchup.
Yeah,
Cooper 27.4, Lamb 22.7, Ezekiel Elliott 16.5, Dalton Schultz 15.2.
Dallas tight end.
That is 4 players on the same offense that all had over 15.
Yeah, that could have been Blake Jarwin.
In a loss by 11 to the Browns.
Who other than I guess Kareem had a good night, and then OBJ
had
I don't think
game.
Baker had a big game.
Nah,
I think his fantasy points were low, and then I guess Jarvis looked a little better with the passing
touchdown. Yeah,
it was a 50-yard.
It was a nice play.
Yeah.
It was a nice play.
Oh, he's going out of bounds. You're just trying to hurt him.
Yes.
All right, Ryan. We'll go to ours.
Oh,
Ryan, I think you put it away. I went back and forth between 2 players, picked the wrong one.
I did the same thing, buddy.
I know. Yeah, I should have started Lat Murray.
Yes, you did. We talked about it on the pod.
We did, and I said, well, he's going to get more opportunities.
We basically said who's got a better chance to score
a touchdown, and it was Latavius Murray 2 touchdowns.
I think he scored
I know.
So you lost that one by 18. Ryan, you lost yours by 13.
Yeah, I lost McLaurin.
So
we got by 13. And
we're looking at a 5-point swing there.
And then my tight end that I just kept dropping and adding.
Yeah.
Went with Logan Thomas for the 3rd time, and he got 1.3. Yeah. But I had Jordan Akins, so I think he got hurt in like the 2nd quarter, and I think he had like 40 yards. So it would only been like 2 more points.
Yeah. I think it's freaking that freaking Dallas game, man. That freaking Dallas game killed me.
Well, Mahomes.
No, it did not.
It did kill me.
Mahomes runs one in and changes things a little bit. If he running is bigger, or he hits Kelsey.
But you just said the Dallas game killed me. You realize you had the 2 players on the offense that won that game in the Dallas game?
Sorry.
Odell Beckham got 35.9.
Dak Prescott killed me.
Yes, Dak Prescott did kill you.
Yeah, so he had 502, so he's in 2 bonus point material.
Dak Prescott didn't throw to Gallup, though, which could have hurt you a lot more. He actually threw to the other receivers.
That's right, baby. CD.
But, yeah, I mean, that game accounted for a decent amount of
both of our points.
It's about, I'd say, more than a third of mine, and basically like a third of yours, probably. So,
much. Interesting game for sure. AJ Green got to go to the bench.
Ty AJ Green, me and you right now, 2 guys in former systems were great. They just haven't looked the same in the new regime.
Question for you guys.
Question mark. Andrew Ramsdale.
If AJ Green's name was not attached to his stat line this year, what week would you have dropped him?
2.
Week 2? Week 3?
No.
You would definitely have dropped him.
If his name wasn't attached.
If his name wasn't attached, you just saw a blind resume.
Okay. I wouldn't have dropped him after week 1 or week 2 because he had 9 and 13 targets. And I'm not dropping any player that's got that many targets. There's not.
Unless it's Logan Thomas getting passes from Dwayne Haskins.
I probably wouldn't even dropped him after week 3. I would think about it after this week, though.
And it's just like it.
But I wouldn't have dropped him with 9 and 13 targets, maybe in week 3, just without the production.
Yep, because I mean, if you're getting that many targets and you're not doing anything with them,
then
it doesn't really matter. It's like saying, "Hey, I was 1 for 15 from the floor shooting, but I got 15 shots up." That's the Dion Waiters.
He'll still be on the team. I ain't dropping him.
Yeah.
He'll still be on the team, but he's got to go to the bench. Now, who's going to start in his place?
That's a question.
Probably whatever guy I pick up this week because they're better than the guys I got on my bench. Russell Gage is all right, but anyways. That DJ Chark looked good. Oh, was that a run or a pass?
It was a run.
Was it really?
Is that McCall Hardman?
Yeah, that's McCall Hardman. The receiver that I picked up and dropped. Man, I might want to pick him back up.
I mean, I've been.
Hey, it was a reception.
I've been riding this boat for the past couple of years with Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
That secondary or tertiary wide receivers in the Kansas City
Tertiary. I like it.
Okay.
Yes.
But
Bring some sophistication.
pop passes.
Those
Stupid pop passes.
Bring some sophistication to this podcast.
I'll try to.
Tony Romo's listening to this right now.
Attaboy. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, it's hard when there's so many mouths to feed. You know you're getting consistent touches from Kelsey
Yeah.
and Hill
Yeah.
and the running back.
Yeah.
But Watkins and Hartman and Demarcus Robinson, who's going to score?
I think DeMarcus Robinson's kind of taking a back seat.
Yeah, Hartman's moved in front of him.
Yeah.
I think the best Robinson did is when Watkins got knocked out against the Chargers where he looked like he got a concussion.
Yeah.
And Robinson came in.
I'll tell you this, though, Ryan. Chris
Yeah.
Carson, I was like, they're just not a guy that I really want to pick. Like, didn't really want to pick in the fantasy draft.
Yeah,
Like,
you want to know why? Because I draft him every year.
I look at him and I'm just like, oh, that's Chris Carson. He's going to be okay. Yeah, it's going to be good to okay.
He runs so hard.
And
But this year they're
now he's
actually
catching passes.
they're actually letting him catch passes this year, which is
They're letting
been
him
a knock
cook.
on him.
They're
Yeah.
letting him cook.
He is cooking.
Yeah, he's been doing pretty well.
All right,
He's
well,
consistent. But I mean, this matchup right now, it's too close to
37
call.
to 63. You got a better shot if Aaron Jones scores another touchdown right here, which is probably freaking going to. So.
Which the difference of our matchup right now is that you've got two players in the fourth quarter of a game, and I got one in the fourth quarter and one in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Aaron Jones is in the red zone again.
If we're doing the draft today, does Aaron Jones go before Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
I think I'd still take Edwards-Helaire.
Over
Just
Jones.
because the usage that Aaron Jones is getting, it might be tough.
I'd probably take Aaron Jones over Clyde
Aaron-
Edwards-Helaire. Me personally.
Aaron Jones just got stuffed
Yeah.
starting goal at the 3.
Okay, just pass it to him then.
I mean, that's a good possibility.
Oh, yeah, who else are going to throw it to? Jake?
Valdez. Is it Scantling?
Yeah, boy.
Valdez.
Say his whole name.
Scantling. I don't know his first name.
Marquez.
Is it Marquez?
All right, we're going to quiz you next week.
I probably will not remember it then. And we have another one Saturday.
We do have another Saturday?
Yeah,
Saturday?
Saturday.
Okay, Saturday. All right, works good. All right. Well, hey, any last words for tonight's podcast?
Got you right where I want you.
I do have you right where I want you.
All right.
Want Aaron Jones is gonna. I don't know. I ain't wishing injury on him. He's gonna
He
get
didn't
shut
get
down the rest of the game. Did he score?
Who was that?
No, that was 82.
Shepherd,
tight
and he
end.
was at the inch line, so they're going to go
They're
for it
going
on fourth.
for it. They're going for it. With
They're
Aaron
already
freaking
lining up.
Jones.
Aaron Jones sneak in.
Yeah, it's a touchdown. All right, Ryan, good job. Congratulations. Yeah, okay.
All right, it's been a good episode, boys.
All right, we will see you guys this weekend. All right, and we're out.
Hey, everybody.